Frick you!
Oh,
Nice, nice. Oh god. Get out of here, you
It is not
bot.
my skin. Scott bullet drop.
Get out of here. Nitro fist spammers.
What is this game? What am I playing?
Guys, well, there's like 4 cars! Oh god. Why
Get
did we
them!
go to this? Why did we do this?
I don't know.
No idea.
Who marked this? I have no idea.
Whole nother, oh god. There's so many people.
I'm getting out.
I'm
can't touch the ground off my guy.
Hold on.
Well, it's happened. Fortnite released its newest season, Wrecked, and boy oh boy do I have a lot to say. Now let me start off by saying this is the beginning of the season, so many things could change as the season progresses, as it always does. But at the end of the video, I'll give you my current rating of the season, to see how much it changes by the end of the season, which I'll make a video on that later near the end of the season, so be on the lookout for that. But first, I want to talk about... So we all saw the new trailer for the season, which in that trailer we saw a giant shark ship approaching the island, and with it brought a sandstorm giving us a new biome, the Wasteland biome. And with it were 4 new POIs added to the map. We have Brutal Beachhead, which has the giant ship from the trailer, Redline Rig, Sandy Steps, and Nitro Dome. But what POIs did these replace? Well, they replaced Nudie Steps and Fencing Fields. But now let's talk about the new loot pool. Here are the unvaulted items. First up is the Enforcer AR, Oscar's Frenzy Auto Shotgun, which I'll talk about in a moment, and the Repair Torch for fixing up your vehicle. Overall, nothing crazy, but now let's talk about the new items added. First is the Machinist's Combat Assault Rifle, Megalodon's Combat Shotgun, Megalodon's Nitro Fists, and the Ringmaster's Boom Bolt, which I'll talk about all of these boss items and weapons in just a moment. But we received the new explosive crossbow called the Boom Bolt. We also received Nitro Fists, allowing you to rotate and deal massive damage to opponents. Nuka-Cola, a healable that grants the user 75 shield and 25 HP slowly. Nitro Splash, which will be in its own category of explanation, as well as Nitro Barrels. And finally, we have Slurp Cactuses, a cactus that by simply damaging it in close range, it will either heal your shield or HP to a certain point. Now let's talk about the vaulted items. First is the E11 Blaster, Ares Warforged, Nemesis AR, Zeus's DMR, Hades SMG, the Frenzy Auto Shotgun, Drum Gun, Wookiee Bowcaster, Reaper Sniper Rifle, Vader's Lightsaber, Chains of Hades, Thunderbolt, Wings of Icarus, Waterbending, Chug Splash, and Flowberry. Something interesting that's on the map is the fact that you can challenge certain NPCs for their weapons again. There are only 2 NPCs though that you can challenge. Who are they? Well, it's Oscar and Cerberus. If you challenge Oscar and win, you get the Frenzy Auto Shotgun, and Oscar can be located at Classy Courts. As for Cerberus, if you challenge him and emerge victorious, you get Cerberus's Gatekeeper Shotgun, which he is still located at Grim Gate. And since we're on the topic of mythic items, let's talk about the bosses in this season. There are 3 bosses, the Machinist, the Ringmaster, and the Megalodon. Now, something interesting about these 3 bosses is that they have a chance of traveling around the map on the main road, so keep an eye out on your map, cause they may not always spawn in a POI. Anyways, let's talk about the Machinist. She drops her Mythic Combat Assault Rifle, as well as her Medallion. Her Medallion's ability is that the holder of the medallion gains the ability to gain shield over time. Next is the Ringmaster, who drops her Mythic Boom Bolt, and her Medallion, which gives the user the ability to have infinite ammo and deal slightly more damage. And finally, we have Megalodon, who drops his Mythic Combat Shotgun and Mythic Nitro Fists, as well as his Medallion, which when held gives the user the ability to have infinite Nitro. But speaking of Nitro, let's talk about... What is Nitro? Well, it's a consumable you can either obtain, like the Nitro Splash, or interact with, like the Nitro Barrel. But first, let's talk about the effects of the Nitro Splash. First off, if you decide to use it, and you're right beside a car, it'll nitrify it. But I'll talk about the effects of a nitrified car in a moment. First, let's talk about the effects of a nitrified player. You gain increased movement speed, explosive bashing powers that deals damage and knockback, and you can break through build if the effect is active while sprinting. Your stamina consumption is drastically decreased, allowing you to sprint for longer. Your reload time is also increased, and you don't take any fall damage of any kind while the effect is active. But remember, these effects are temporary. so make sure to carry a lot of Nitro Splash. Next, let's talk about the effects of a nitrified car. The effects are as follows. You gain an increase in driving speed inside of the nitrified car. You gain explosive ramming power that deals damage and knockback, but only when driving at a certain speed and at the right angle. Your fuel consumption is drastically decreased, and it adds buffs to attached mods, which we'll talk about in a moment. And as for the nitro barrels, they literally have the same effects, except instead of actually consuming it, you can run into it with the car to activate it. Now, let's talk about the thing that everyone has probably been waiting for. I'm talking about... Now, if you somehow didn't know, since the season's theme is Apocalypse, we had an overhaul in content for vehicles, aka cars. Now, what were these changes? Well, let's get into the stuff they involved first. So, in the season, they brought back car mods, the Cowcatcher and Chonker off-road tires. But we also got many new mods, such as a machine gun turret on the rooftop, or you could trade it out for a grenade launcher turret. We also got the addition of spiked bumpers and bulletproof tires. Now, these mods aren't the only changes that came to cars, not even close. Vehicles also got massive health increases across the board. We also got things that are called service stations, which replace gas stations essentially. If your car is damaged, there are these pads you can park on, where it'll automatically start fueling up your car while healing it. And at these service stations, you'll find wooden crates with labels and icons on them, showing what the item inside of it is. These are how you get the car modded. All you have to do is drive through them, and the mod is added to your car automatically. And every once in a while, you'll find crates that look like this. These are actually repair crates. If you drive the vehicle through these, it'll automatically heal your car to max health. And that's it for the main car changes. However, there are some other changes. In a match, you might find a war bus, a modded out version of the battle bus, with enemy NPCs and possibly one of the main bosses. But here's the cool thing. You can actually drive and use the battle bus, which has mounted grenade launcher turrets on the top of it. But those are all the main car changes in the season so far. Now, let's talk about... So, the Battle Pass operates the same way as last season, and all I'm going to cover today are the skins. And as I go through each skin, I'll rate it 1 out of 10. First, we have the Machinist. Now, this is a very good Tier 1 skin. Very clean, very cool aesthetic. Overall, I saw it 8.5 out of 10, in my book at least. Next is Rust. Now, people have very mixed opinions about the skin. Either people like him, or they hate him. Me personally, I like him. I mean, I might be biased since Rust Lord is one of my favorite skins of all time, same with X Lord, but I think the styles are really clean. And he's different enough to justify another Rust Lord skin. Overall, I saw it 8 out of 10 for me. Next, we got the meme skin, Peabody. Now, Peabody is fun. Not my favorite meme skin, we've definitely had better meme skins, but for what it is, he's alright. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Next, we have Ringmaster Scar. I don't like her all that much, I'm gonna be honest. Her second style isn't that bad, but it's her base style that really brings her down for me. Definitely the worst skin in the Battle Pass in my opinion, a 4.5 out of 10 for me. Next, we have my personal favorite skin in the Battle Pass. Am I biased? Absolutely. I'm a huge fan of Fallout, so when I saw this skin, I knew he was an automatic 9.5 out of 10 for me. Next is Bright Raider. I mean, it's just another recolor Bright Bomber. Now, I wouldn't have as much of a problem with this if we didn't get so much Bright Bomber related content recently. Personally, I think she would fit better as a crew pack skin. But, that's just my opinion. Finally, we have the Tier 100 skin, Megalodon. Yes, that is how they spell it. Other than how dumb they did the name, I like the skin a lot. It has a lot of character and I love the Nitro effect. A solid 8.5 out of 10 for me. And now for the secret skin, we have Magneto. This skin is pretty alright, I guess. I personally would have preferred normal Magneto rather than Wasteland Magneto, but I see what they were going with. So I'll give him a solid 7 out of 10. But what do you think? Let me know how you would rate these skins down in the comments below. Overall, I would say the Battle Pass is pretty solid. I saw a lot of people complaining about it, but I really like it, and I think it's an improvement to last season's Battle Pass. But now, it's finally time to move on to... Overall, it's very early in the season, but I gotta say, it's super chaotic. In my opinion, pro players will not like this season. I think this season is more so for the casual enjoyers of the game. The pros seem to take issue with the vehicles and how unbalanced they are. Now, I'm as casual as it gets, And I really like the cars, weapon meta, and pretty much everything. But talking about the cars, I do have to slightly side with the pros here. I think this season would greatly benefit if they slightly nerf the vehicles. Whether that's lowering the health, lowering the amount of cars that spawn, or something of the sort, I think some measures need to take place for the vehicles. As for the map, it would also benefit if this was a Chapter 2 Season 3 or Chapter 1 Season 7 situation, where the map progresses and changes over time. In this case, the Wasteland biome spreads across a decent portion of the map. Cause, while these new locations are very entertaining and cool, I think we'll need to see some new locations or some new changes if we want this map to stay fresh for the rest of the season. Once again, it's very early in the season, but as of now, I'm rating the season a solid 8.3 out of 10. But what do you think about the season? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, let's wrap up with... Oh boy, we have a lot of shoutouts to go through this time. If you didn't know, on this channel I shout out multiple creators I find interesting, or that are underrated and I feel deserve more recognition. So, starting off, we have my boy Aggro. He's a Fortnite content creator that is extremely underrated and makes very informational videos, and is part of a Fortnite podcast. Speaking of that very podcast, next we have the Worthless Opinions podcast, featuring 4 Fortnite content creators, and sometimes featuring guests, where they talk about all things Fortnite and gaming, and they live stream all of their episodes, so you can chat with them and can talk with the hosts, and ask them questions. And they are live every Thursday, so please check them out. They're really cool. Next, we have Brivy. Brivy makes Fortnite content in the commentary and informational genre. Brivy is also very insightful and is very skilled at the game. Next is What If Central. Central does a lot of gaming content, but as of recently has been uploading more Fortnite content and other types of content, so make sure to check them out. Next, we have Dome, Nyko2064, Amaz Plays, and Mr. Blub. All 4 of these creators make gaming or Fortnite related content, whether it's funny moments or battle pass reviews or even challenges. These guys have got it all, so go check them out. And finally, we have Wiggler Maker 2, who specializes in Nintendo based content, where he has Q&As, Nintendo slander, and more. So go check these awesome people out at their respective channels. And of course, don't forget to check out the boys as always. And anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a lovely night.